Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Preston Sports Podcast. The first time we're doing this on actual schedule. Today is Monday the 31st. I'm recording it a little late. Hopefully I'll be able to get it up. If not, it's not the biggest thing in the world. But today we are talking about Julio Jones. Big talking point in the NFL right now. Before I get started, don't forget, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things I hate telling you to do, but do them. So anyways, Julio Jones, kind of getting up there in age, but has been a big talk, especially with trading right now in the NFL. I don't think he'll get traded till Wednesday. Hopefully he does get traded Wednesday, because that would give me something to talk about. But, Quintorius Lopez-Jones, also known as Julio Jones, has played for the Atlanta Falcons since 2011, was a first-round draft pick, obviously. Has a massive cap hit, which is, I believe, is $23.25 million right now. The reason I don't believe he'll get traded till June 1st is till after June 1st, is because the Falcons would have to take $23 million in dead cap space if they were to wait to trade him till after. Then that would mean they would have to pay just the same amount, but just over 2 years, which is different for the team because that just means they get to save more money both years. So, don't think he'll get traded till Wednesday. Hopefully he does get traded Wednesday. But before we talk about that, Julio, very good wide receiver. I don't think anyone disagrees. As far as his stats go, they've been declining. Well, I guess they really just declined this year. And he was injured for a good amount of time, only played 9 games, so missed just under half the season. But in those 9 games, he had 51 catches for 771 yards, averaging 15 a catch and 3 touchdowns. 36 first downs, a long of 44. And then he had a 75% catch percentage, which is pretty darn good. And 85 yards per game in a game where he only played 9 isn't too bad. I believe he holds the NFL record with 95.5 yards per game, which is very impressive. In 2013, he was averaging 116 yards a game. And then 106 in 2014, 115, he averaged 116.9, so almost 117 yards a game. Dang. So we all know this. Julio is a great receiver. Now the Falcons kind of in a rebuild mode. Matt Ryan probably won't be there past this year. Drafting Kyle Pitts instead of drafting a quarterback of the future. Kind of looking to restart a little bit. So Julio just will be the first to go. Matt Ryan should be next year. They restructured his deal to where if they were to cut him after this year, it's a significantly less dead cap hit. So I'm expecting Matt Ryan to be gone. But as far as Julio Jones goes, there should be a lot of teams interested in Julio Jones. Let me double check. I actually don't know how old Julio is. I've seen things that say he's like 34. And if he is, that would be absolutely crazy because I don't think he's 32. Okay, I was going to say he better not be 34. He's been in the league not that long. But yeah, so he's 32 years old. And let me double check his birthday. So yeah, he's 32, turned 32 in February. So he'll be 32, 33 by next season. So whoever's trading for him isn't getting him for long. 2, maybe 3 years of elite production is what we normally see from wide receivers. 35 is probably about when they bottom out. Now, if you're Larry Fitzgerald, you'll still be able to play. Don't be surprised if Julio does. He is a freak athlete. But Julio's going to have to go to a team that is in a win-now mode. We say this a lot, but a lot of the times it isn't true. We're looking for a team that is one piece away from a Super Bowl. They have a quarterback. They hopefully already have an established wide receiver. They hopefully have a decent offensive line, decent run game, decent defense. And the big names right now for Julio are the New England Patriots. You're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, the Tennessee Titans, the Seahawks, and apparently the Rams have also thrown their names in the ring. And even DeAndre Hopkins from Arizona has been trying to recruit him. So there's a possibility that all 4 teams from that one division. I think that it was probably the Niners first that were kind of like, hey, can we trade for him? And then all the 3 other teams are like, oh, hold up. We're going to trade for Julio? No, we'll trade for Julio. Keep Debo, keep DK. You can have Cooper Kupp. You can have DeAndre Hopkins. We'll take Julio. But So say he goes to Arizona. I've had my issues with Arizona, their offseason. I'm not a super big fan of it. Obviously, getting J.J. Watt was really good. But still, I'm just kind of like, how good was their offseason really? If they get Julio Jones, that receiver core being DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, and A.J. Green, that would be absolutely insane. Because you got to figure, Julio is someone you double cover. DeAndre is someone you double cover. So you subtract 4 for Julio and DeAndre. That leaves 7 for the remaining, 9 offensive players? Which is absolutely... the math would be with the Cardinals every time. Same thing with the Rams. Same thing, if the Seahawks get them, do you think DK, Tyler Lockett, and Julio Jones? Put DK and Julio outside, have Tyler in the slot? That would be such an insane offense. Even the Titans, you have the run game with Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, who's been an underrated quarterback, underappreciated quarterback. And then you have A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. And you go to the Niners, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Julio Jones. I think they still have Raheem Mostert, even though they shouldn't. He's not that good. It's just the Kyle Shanahan system. Young quarterback in Trey Lance. And then you go to the Rams. I don't even know what the heck the Rams are doing. I don't know how they have cap space. They trade... They never have first-round picks, but they always give away first-round picks. So you're looking at, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Cam Akers is a young running back. Gerald Everett, I believe, is the tight end they still have. I know they lost one of them this year in free agency. But who else? The Patriots. Goodness gracious. Young quarterback in Mac Jones, conveniently from Alabama, but we're thinking it's probably going to be Cam who starts. So getting Cam Newton, Julio Jones helps Cam out a lot. It helps the offensive line. It helps the run game. Julio just helps the team. And so say Julio goes to the Patriots, we're scared of the Patriots again. I don't think just because the Patriots shelled out big money in the offseason, we should be scared of them. If they get Julio, we should be scared of him. People seem to think that just because the team was bad, that Bill Belichick still isn't a mastermind head coach. Like, we were talking about it last year when they got Cam Newton. He had Tom Brady, and Tom Brady, amazing passer with the football, can really read a field, but he can't run. So imagine you take away that passer ability a little bit with Cam Newton, but then you add great run ability. Now, give that passer ability and run ability Julio Jones. And then you still have, N'Keal Harry, who, honestly, N'Keal Harry, he's not a number 1 guy, but he's been trying to be. So you can't really make your judgments off of him yet. That's at least my opinion. I think we got to give N'Keal Harry a little bit. They still have Sony Michel, and I think they still have James White, and they got Trent Brown back, and they still have Stephon Gilmore, and they brought back Kyle Van Noy, and Deontay Hightower's coming back. Patriots will be a dangerous. Now, I don't know how they'll do in the AFC. It's very rare. It's been a long time since anyone said. Now, I don't know how the Patriots will do in the AFC East because of all the good teams. You have the Dolphins. Tua should be taking a step up. You have the Bills, obviously. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Tre'Davious White, good offensive line. Cole Beasley. They have Emmanuel Sanders now. They have the MVP, Mitchell Trubisky. So... And then, you say what you will about the Jets. I think the Jets, they're not going to be near the playoffs. I'm saying 5 or 6 wins. Probably. If Zach Wilson is what everyone thinks of him to be. So, and, teams people aren't talking about that much to get him, but teams people should be. I think the Bears. I think the Bears should make a real shot to get him, because you got to figure now. I guess the Bears did trade their future first to get Justin Fields, but think about it like this: if you're Ryan Pace, I think the Bears GM is, your job is on the line right now. Don't forget, Ryan Pace took Mitchell Trubisky instead of Patrick Mahomes, or Deshaun Watson, or anyone else in that 2017 draft class. Now, he did draft Darnell Money Mooney, who's the best wide receiver in the league, father of Jalen Ramsey. And I'm just kidding. When Jalen Ramsey plays him again, he's going to lock him up. Jalen Ramsey's so good that when he has a bad rep, it goes viral. I saw that on Instagram the other day. It's very true. But I got off track. Give the Bears Julio Jones. That's something we're not talking about what we should be. There's a lot of, like, the Packers. If the Packers don't at least try to trade for Julio. Do you know what would make Aaron Rodgers really happy? Bringing Julio Jones to Green Bay. Why would you not try? At least try. At least, like, do so. Like, offer a 6th round pick. Say, oh, we tried. A 7th round pick. Offer Alan Lazard. Offer Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Just say, man, we gave it our best shot. We tried to get Julio. Because if Aaron Rodgers is like, hey, Julio is on the market, what are we going to do about that? And you're like, is Julio even really that good? You know? Gunter Kuntz is over there like, listen, Julio Jones, he's old. We can't commit to him, he's old. And Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm older than him. This is why all these problems started. The Packers should be trying to trade for Julio. The Bears should be trying to trade for Julio. The Titans would be very good with Julio. Now, what would the Falcons have to be compensated with for Julio? A report said they were asking for a 1st round pick, but 2nd round pick is okay with them. I don't understand why you wouldn't just be like, no, we're getting a 1st round pick. Like, this is Julio Jones. Like, considering what they had to give up to get, what they traded to Cleveland to get that pick to get Julio Jones. Don't remember exactly what it was. I know it was a lot of picks. You should say, no, we want a 1st round pick. We want a 1st round pick and probably a couple more picks and maybe a player. Because this isn't just anyone. This is Julio Jones. His yards per year so he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. He's entering year 11. Let's just go through the yards and touchdowns. Year 1, 959 yards, 8 touchdowns. Year 2, 1,198 yards, 10 touchdowns. Now, year 3, he did deal with some injury, only played 5 games. In those 5 games, he had 580 yards, 2 touchdowns. Year 4, he only played 15 games, and in those 15 games, 1,593 yards, 6 touchdowns. Then we go to year 5, which I believe was that Super Bowl year? No, that was year before Super Bowl year. On 136 catches. He has 1,871 yards, 8 touchdowns. We go to 2016. He only played 14 games, but he still got 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns. We go to 2018, I believe 2017. 1,444 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2018, 1,677 yards, 8 touchdowns. 2019, 1,394 yards, 6 touchdowns. 2020, 771 yards, 3 touchdowns. Game changer. So what do you want to give for that? You want a 1st round pick. You want it because what are you going to use to take your quarterback? The Falcons, I don't see them they'll probably get last place in their division again just because they're in a good division. I don't know exactly how many games they'll win. You got to figure they're losing Julio, but they're adding Kyle Pitts. Now, Kyle Pitts is no Julio, but Kyle Pitts should help. They still have Calvin Ridley. They still have that tight end from Baltimore. What's his name? Hayden Hurst. They still have Matt Ryan. They still have Deion Jones. That's about it defensively. So the Falcons won't be good, and they honestly shouldn't try to be good. You know, you can have players who have good stats, but you don't want your team to be good next year because that's not the place you're in right now. You want a good draft pick, and you want to trade Julio to a team that probably will have a good. Well, so the thing is with Julio, it's the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. You want more than draft picks at least, or you want a good amount of draft picks. And you probably want a player too, because when you're trading Julio, that team instantly becomes better. So yeah, a 1st round pick is valuable, and especially if you're going to give it to a team like the Patriots who were in the top 15 last year. But you give that to the Patriots, and that 1st round pick just loses value. Because with that team becoming better because of the addition of Julio, that 1st round pick just goes up and up. So, if the Patriots had Julio, they'll probably make the playoffs. So we're talking a top 20 pick. And, the Patriots can probably win a playoff game, so we're looking at 25 now. And, Patriots possibly could win too. We're going to the conference championship. We're looking at top 28 pick. Or, pick in the 28-29. Bill Belichick's a genius. Patriots could win the Super Bowl. We're looking at pick 32, 31. And it can go anywhere from 32 all the way down to, I think, the Patriots' bottom is probably around 18. Because I think the Patriots will be a lot better. So you want, if you're trading, for example, if you're trading with the Patriots, say, hey, we'll give you Julio Jones, but we want, say, a second-round pick, and we want Sony Michel, which I think was the rumored offer. That's a good offer. That's a good trade. I think the Patriots wanted Julio and a fourth for that. I wouldn't give up a fourth, too, personally. It's a fourth, so, you don't get a lot of good players in the fourth. But that doesn't mean they never happen. Tom Brady was in the sixth. Stephon Diggs was in the fifth. You can get good players anywhere in the draft, but it's just that's why I wouldn't give up the fourth-round pick, personally. But I think Julio deserves at least a first-round pick. But they said they're fine with a second, but it'd have to be a second and a player. Because that second-round pick also loses value, and you can get great players in the second round. You look at the Browns just this year got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. The Giants got Azeez Ojulari. There's good players available in the second round, but you still want to at least get a player, at least someone to replace it. That's why I think Sony Michel would be great, because they they got Mike Davis from Carolina, and I actually like Mike Davis, but he filled in well for Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think he's the future. Actually, I can double check Mike Davis real quick, but getting Sony Michel would be a huge get, and I know Sony Michel hasn't lived up to his first round pick. He just wasn't worth the first round pick. Yeah, he's 28 years old. So I would personally try to at least get Sony Michel. My prediction to where Julio will go, really, I have no idea. Where I think should get him, who would be the best off to get him, probably for Julio, the best situation would be one team that I think would be interested in trading for him, but maybe not, is Washington football team. I think that would be interesting. Think of that wide receiver core. They have Curtis Samuel, Scary Terry McLaurin. They have that great defense, Fitzmagic or Fitzception, depending on how he plays this year. I think Julio to Washington would be interesting, but the team I think should trade, it's hard to say. The best situation for Julio would be in a situation where he wouldn't become the guy you have to double team. So we're looking at something like Seattle, something like, Tampa Bay always needs more weapons, I guess. But we're talking about something like Seattle, something like LA, something like Tennessee. Because now in New England, Julio's your number one guy, but you're comfortable with putting N'Keal Harry alone with the defender. Now, if you trade him to Seattle, you can double cover him, but that leaves either DK or Tyler Lockett in single. So, I think Seattle would be the best for him. I don't think it's the smartest move from Seattle to pay Julio a bunch of money, $20 million. They just extended Tyler Lockett, and they're going to have to pay DK. So, the best situation, who has a good amount of cap space right now? San Fran. Probably San Francisco would be the best for him, now that I'm thinking about it. Quarterback on a rookie deal. Once they trade Jimmy G, get Julio, get ready to cut Jimmy G. I think San Fran would be the best for him. That Kyle Shanahan play action offense could allow Julio to have some really nice production along with Deebo Samuel. They have a really good defense. Well, actually, I don't know how they're good. Personally, I'm not as high on the Seattle defense as I was now that I think about it. They don't really have secondary players. Now, hopefully, they're able to get at least something. Excuse me. But who else was I talking about? Packers would be good to get them. I don't know if they have the cap space, but yeah, so those are my thoughts. I think the best situation for Julio would probably be something like Seattle, where they're kind of built to win a championship right now. But, he can go to San Fran. LA is just a good place to go. Arizona, might be Arizona. You see, that's the thing. There's so many good situations for him right now. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see and find out. I'm super excited to see where he gets traded. I'm thinking probably a first or a second round pick, couple later round picks, and a player for maybe Julio, and maybe a fourth, maybe a fifth, somewhere around there. Probably won't just be Julio Atlanta sending over. They could go for a massive blockbuster deal on like Julio, second round pick, bunch of stuff, then get first round pick and a couple players. We'll see what happens. Really excited. Excited to see what Atlanta does. Excited to see where Julio goes. Excited to see how many yards and touchdowns he puts up his first year, especially if he goes to Arizona or to Seattle. Those are probably my two favorite situations specifically for Julio. I will just reminding you guys, this goes up Monday. We will come back Wednesday. And if Julio's traded, I'll talk about that Julio trade. If Julio is not traded, I'll figure something else to talk about. And then Friday will be Fix 'em Up Friday. Take a team, look at them, look at their free agents coming up, say who I would sign. We'll talk about who could be in free agency. What I was actually thinking of doing was just like loading up Madden with a current roster and just simulating to kind of see who would be there, and then I would make my decisions of who to sign in free agency off of that, if that's something that you guys are interested in, of course. But nevertheless, thank you guys for listening. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things I don't like asking you to do. Comment down below what your thoughts on the Julio trade, who you would like to see him go, and then if, say, he gets traded Wednesday, we'll have a discussion about it. If not, I'll figure something else to talk about. Now, real quick, I'll tell you guys about it now because I have extra time. This is kind of shorter than I thought it would be. So next week, the week of Sunday's the 6th. On the 6th, I leave for church camp. And so that means that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I won't be here to record. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-record a bunch of stuff. So I'll do my regular 3s. I'll do a Monday, Wednesday, and a Fix 'em Up Friday. And so that's what I'm going to spend my weekend doing. Or that's what I'm going to spend my Friday and Saturday doing this week. So I will have them up. My brother will just have to post them for me. So you'll still get your content. I'll still be able to say that I've kept an upload schedule. It won't be then if news breaks, I won't be able to get to it until week after next. That's just how it is. I don't make the decisions of when the dates are. I'll figure out a way to make it work where I can still get content. It just won't be modern or current if anything happens next week. Say Aaron Rodgers gets traded next week, which also, honestly, that could also happen Wednesday after the June 1st deadline, but we'll talk about that Wednesday. So it's going to be a little, I'll be able to do a Fix 'em Up Friday regularly because there's not that much current that has to do with it. But so say Monday, Wednesday, let me know what you guys would like to hear. I can talk about Browns specifically. Honestly, maybe I'll split it too. I'll do Monday AFC, Wednesday NFC standings. I think that's what I'm going to do. Don't need you guys' help anymore. Thank you for that. I will talk to you guys Wednesday. Make sure, don't say it again. Like, subscribe, do all the stuff you got to do. Peace out. Enjoy your day. Happy Memorial Day. And I will talk to you guys on Wednesday.